What are my thoughts on religion? Look, a lot of people have very strong opinions on religion. You have the atheists who say religion is stupid. And then you have all the different religions in the world: Islam, Christianity, Judaism, the Hindus, Buddhists. You have all these religions. And, I think a lot of people have some very strong viewpoints that have not been examined. They have not looked into themselves deeply and said, why do I hold the views that I hold? Right? There's conflict between different religions, between Christians and Muslims, right? There's all this conflict. Meanwhile, we all are looking at the same God, right? Like that, I've been reading the texts, the Quran and the Bible and the Torah, and it's so similar. It's almost impossible sometimes to draw a distinction between what the two books are saying, right? There are some subtle differences in the books, but at the end of the day, there's a set of values and standards that people are upholding to be valid followers of that religion, right? I think a lot of people are trying to eradicate religion, especially in the Western world, right? Because they don't want any boundaries coming in. And by they, I mean the radicals, the leftists, right? They don't want there to be a certain set of standards. They want you to just accept anything and everything. But that's not how this works, right? The rule of law wouldn't work if we just accepted anything and everything, right? Society is built on certain principles. Different societies are built and based on principles that everyone agrees to, right? But as soon as you start eroding those principles, you get what we're seeing in the Western world, in the United States, in Western Europe. The degeneracy. No one has standards. No one has morals anymore, right? It's slowly fading away every single day. The left has systematically chipped away at institutions, the education system, right? Kids are getting brought up in indoctrination camps, just like I was living in LA, right? I couldn't stand living in LA, right? But when I was young, I believed that everything they were telling me was true, right? That, I won't say all of the topics, but like that the fact that a man can be a woman and I can't question that's just matter of fact, right? How could you expect me to not question something like that? It's unbelievable how they just drop stuff out of nowhere, right? An entirely new concept. And then they're like, oh yeah, no, it's completely normal. And everyone has to adhere to this and accept it, or else you're a terrible person. I just can't believe we live in that kind of society. I was brought up in that, and I was brainwashed for a long time. I was brainwashed, and then I got awakened. I started hearing different viewpoints. I started really looking deep within myself and saying, why do you believe this stuff? Why do you believe what they're telling you? And then by looking deeper inside myself, I was like, you know what? I don't believe in this stuff. It's always been a little off-putting, but I haven't said anything because they've just told me it's matter of fact and to shut my mouth and to listen. I know so many of you have experienced the same thing if you've grown up in the Western world. It's terrible. And, in terms of my religious views, I've identified as a Christian for a long time, but, it's getting really hard for me to say that right now. I'm kind of lost in terms of what I identify with, and I'm starting to explore different options because the radicals have invaded all the churches. There's a church very close to me. It's the closest church to me. And there's a bunch of political flags on the outside talking about transgenderism and climate change and, racial injustice and all these things on the outside, political statements from the left. And I can't stand it. And my church for, a while, it didn't seem to have any signs of radicalism that entered in there. They didn't seem to have infiltrated my church yet. But then the other week, I saw that they did. And politics started to enter into the church. Things that, Christian text, the Bible, doesn't allow, but they were bringing it into the church. And I was shocked. I thought, wow, I thought my church was okay. I thought my church was safe from all this, but it wasn't. And it's happened 3 times now where they brought politics into the church. Leftism has infiltrated the church, and I just won't stand for it anymore. I won't. I don't have any hate toward any groups. People think that, me with my views, I'm hateful toward other people. I would never hurt a person, ever. And I don't think people with my viewpoint would hurt people either. But we're made to seem evil, right? And people think that we hate other people. But we don't, people with my views on how this world should work, right? Traditionalism. A lot of the things that we believe in are just things that have existed for almost all of humanity until the last 20 years when they decided to flip everything on us and attack something as fundamental as sex, right? The idea of what it means to be a man or a woman, the idea of marriage, right? It's different. The reason I see this as different as opposed to race is, look, we are all human beings, regardless of race and skin color and all that. But as soon as you attack sex, which is something so fundamental to the human condition, right? Of course you're going to get divides. And you just want people to accept everything, don't you? In this modern society, because you are so righteous. You are such a great person. And your views are the views that everyone else should adhere to. And all the societies that have been living in a certain way and treated, the marriage between a man and a woman as sacred and have never even considered the idea that men could be women and women could be men. You expect them to change everything in an instant. Interesting. Really interesting. I've really been thinking, and I'm exploring right now my options, because Christians have really failed. They've really failed. They've let the radicals infiltrate the church. And I don't even know what a Christian would answer to certain questions anymore. Like, I know if I ask a Muslim certain questions, I know what their answer would be, right? Because they still adhere to their rules and standards. But Christians, I don't know what they would answer now, right? Because they've just begun accepting everything. Meanwhile, no matter how you go about it, to have a functioning society, you have to be exclusionary. To have a religion, by definition, you have to exclude certain things from your religion. So I'm really I'm just really shocked at what's happened in this world and with Christianity. I have a deep connection with God. We talk every day. And I tell him all the time, I can't believe how people are, it's just such a disgrace what they're doing to God in all these institutions that, should be worshiping him, but instead disrespecting him. So I won't adhere to any faith that disrespects God openly. And I don't think a lot of people are either. I think there's a big shift happening. I think a lot of people are getting angry and fed up and moving to other religions because, ours doesn't exist anymore in many ways. And I hope that doesn't last. I hope the tides turn, but right now it doesn't look so good. So those are my thoughts on religion. I think religion's a beautiful thing. I really do. I think that religion has built our society in so many ways, has constructed so many things, laws, the rule of law, politics, business, everything has been influenced by religion and the principles in it. It's a really beautiful thing. And yeah, so those are my thoughts. Please drop your thoughts in the description. Again, I love all people. I would never hurt anyone. I don't have any hate in my heart toward people. We are all humans. And I hope that you'll be able to accept my views the same way that I am able to talk with people who have completely different views to me and not get angry or violent. But people can't seem to be doing that the other way around. So if you hold opposite views to me and you got an angry reaction from this, I want you to just think about the fact that a majority of the world still thinks the way that I do, right? Go to Africa, go to the Middle East, go to South America, go to Eastern Asia, Eastern Europe, only places where this has really become mainstream, all the leftist views, United States, Western Europe, Australia. Other than that, the rest of the world is pretty much aligned with what I'm saying. So think about it. Do you hate that many people? Do you really hate a majority of the world? And if you do, look deep inside yourself and ask yourself why. And really confront that. I hope this video made you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I'm grateful for you being here. I know this is a new topic, but it was on my mind today. I've really been studying the topic, so I wanted to just drop my 2 cents on it. If you want to learn more about me, click the links in my description. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.